So, good morning class. I am your teacher for today. I am your teacher Ann. So, before we will start our class, let's start with our opening prayer. So, Pataw, can you lead the prayer?
Yes, ma'am. So, let us bow down our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. So, Father God, come with us today. Fill our hearts with joy. Fill our classroom with peace. Fill our lesson with fun. Fill our friendship with kindness. Fill our school with love.
So, thank you. So, I have a few reminder before we will discuss in our class. So, first is mute your audio while discussing is ongoing. Second is open your cam during class hour. Third, use appropriate attire. Fourth is participate during class discussion and also raise your hands and use respectfully language if you want to be acknowledged. Third is avoid eating during class hour. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, let's have an attendance first. Adrian Ramos, say present if you are here, class.
Present.
Okay. Michelle De Los Reyes,
Present, ma'am.
Jocelyn Pataho,
Present, ma'am.
Joylyn Ramos.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Very good, class. Keep it up. Always present in our discussion because your examination is on next week. So, okay. So before we proceed to our topic, class, let us have a recap on our previous discussion. So, what our previous discussion, class? Can anyone tell me or share?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
Permission to speak.
Okay, proceed.
Wood handling, ma'am, and wood preparation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramos. So, okay, class, I have here two different types of pictures. This picture showing the two different types of situation in the workplace area. Wait. All I want you to do is to identify or observe what do you think is the problem in that two pictures showing in my screen. So, anyone?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
Physical problem, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Another.
Permission to speak.
Okay, proceed.
Ano, ma'am? Nag-organize yung mga ginagamit nila, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Another.
Kalat-kalat lang po.
So, thank you. So, another class, baka may makikita pa kayong, baka may ma-observe pa kayong, parang may mali sa picture, parang may mga hindi pwedeng gawin, ganon.
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, acknowledge.
Yung pong merong box na kinakarga na tao and then may papasok na lalaki may dalang kahoy na mahaba.
Oh, okay.
Parang ano siya, makukuha siya ng bukol.
So, thank you. So, very good, class. You are a very good observer. So, tama yung mga sinasabi. So, now we will proceed to our activity. So, in your 1/4 sheet of paper, all I want you to do is list at least 3 to 5 different types of hazard that you see in your house, specifically in your kitchen area. Is that clear, class? Or do you want i-repeat ko yung instructions?
Ano po, ma'am?
Okay, if it's that clear, I will give you 3 minutes to do that. Okay, you may now start. And if you are done, pass it on our GC. Tapos, i-close ko yung pag-passing ng activity if lumapas kayo sa time limit. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, class. Based on your answer in your activity. Now, can you identify the different hazard in preparing food? Anyone?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay. Proceed.
Yung hair po, ma'am, and it's a type of physical hazard po.
Okay. So, physical hazard, these are the objects which can contaminate your food such as pieces of glass or metal, hair, jewelry, and toothpicks. So, to prevent this kind of hazards, care should be taken during the risk of contamination and also to be ensured that all food are covered in storage. And get the necessary object or jewelry while preparing food. So, this will help to prepare or to prevent physical hazard contamination from occurring. Anything else, class?
Speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
Yung machine oils and cleaning chemical, ma'am, and it is type of chemical hazard.
So, thank you. So, to chemical hazard are present at every stage of food handling. To minimize or avoid this risk is that you have to separate storage for the chemicals used in operation to avoid food contamination or food poisoning. So, anything else, class?
Ma'am, permission to speak?
Okay, acknowledge.
Ma'am, parasites and bacteria. They can develop in poorly handled food or through contamination from an outside source, and it's a type of biological hazard.
So, thank you, Ms. De Los Reyes. So, biological hazard, these are hazard to ensure that all your product has been purchased from an approved supplier and follow the legal process to ensure that it is all fresh and not expired. So, para kung kainin nyo yung food is fresh siya and hindi siya expired. As well as, in all cases, always suspected or check contaminated food and dispose if it eats immediately. So, thank you class for your participation. Thank you for always answering or participating in class. You know that participation is part of your grading system. So, thank you class. So, next. So, based on the activity, what do you think is our topic for today?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
About the different types of hazards, ma'am.
Okay, is the practical ways to prevent hazard and risk. Can anyone read, or I will just call your name to read the PowerPoint presentation.
Permission to speak, ma'am. Ako na po.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramos.
We should follow and review valuable sources such as OSA standards and guidelines, and NIO SH publication and relevant information from professional associations.
So, thank you, Mr. Adrian. So, when you said OSHA, these are the Occupational Safety and Health Standard Act. So, here, they are in charge with the responsibility to create enforceable safety rules that employees must follow, like wearing of PPE and proper hygiene. in the environment. Occupational Safety and Health Standard Act, they are ensure the safety and healthful of the worker condition on their environment by providing training and so on. So NIOSH, these are the National Institution for Occupational Safety and Health. So they are focused on the health issue. They conducting research and making recommendation for the prevent of work related and illnesses. So guys, we should follow these two organizations for us to have a legal basis and strong foundation on prevention of hazard and a certain workplace. These two organizations came from the different agency, but they has one goal, and their goal is to secure the safety and health of the employees by protecting them against any hazard in their work environment. So next is first is spot the hazard. A hazard is something that can cause harm. A risk is the change, high or low, that any hazard will actually cause somebody. So you know naman yung mga hazard, different types of hazard like chemical, biological, and physical. So magiging risk siya, like for example sa chemical, pag yung pagkain mo is nahaluan ng mga chemical like yung mga gas, so magiging risk siya sa tao pag kainin niya yung food, then it's either may possibility na mapapoison yung taong kakain. So here in the spot the hazard means you should be aware and identify of the possible hazard into your workplace. So you need to be aware para may alam ka or may gagawin kang action agad pag may nakikita kang hazard sa work environment mo. Then second is use a checklist. Can anyone read?
Permission to speak. Checklist can help you examine your work environment, the tasks your workers do, and the machinery or equipment used in your workplace. You can use a checklist for regular or frequent tasks.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ingrano. So here in the checklist, to make sure if it is in a safe working work, if it's kung safe ba yung working area mo, kailangan mo gagawa ka ng checklist. So I have here example of checklist. Like you will check if yung mga machinery ba ay ginagamit mo is still working, if yung mga employees mo is ginagawa pa rin ba nila yung safety hygiene, proper use of PPE. So i-check mo yan dito lahat para may document ka kung nagagawa ba nila yung responsibility ng company. So the third one is assess the risk. It's a term to use to describe the overall processes of hazard or situation to your workplace. So here in the number 3, after spot or identify the hazards and risk factors, you will analyze and evaluate the risk associated with the hazard. So next. So in the axis of risk, dito na yung risk assessment. So these are the 5 steps in risk assessment. First is identify the hazard. Second is decide who might be harmed and how. Third is evaluate the risk and decide on precaution. Fourth is record your findings and implement them. And the 5th step is review your assessment and updates it necessary. So here in the step 1, identify the hazard, which means yun na nga, i-spite mo yung hazard. You will identify kung ano yung mga possible hazard sa working place nyo. You can interview your employees, yung kung sino yung mga parte dun sa workplace. Second step is decide who might be harmed and how. So once you identify the hazard, you should consider why these hazards are harmful or who might harm and what types of injury na makukuha nila dun sa hazard. So here in the step 3, you will about taking actions to create safety work environment. You will put on safe place precaution like yung mga signage, symbols, or you will use a safety equipment. Yung mga sira na yung mga equipment mo, pwede mo na yun siya i-change. Mag-buy ka na naman ng additional new equipment or ipapaayos mo. But to make sure, pag ipaayos mo yung equipment, make it sure na hindi siya magkakos again ng hazard. At the same time, dito, ito yung mga pag-use of proper PPE. The fourth step is record your findings and implement them. So here in the step 4, you will record all your risk assessment findings so that you have a documents that you take an action to reduce the level of risk in the workplace. Now, these are the parang magiging evidence siya para if may magpunta sa government agency na i-check yung company mo, may ipapakita kang evidences na you make your action para ma-less or ma-reduce yung risk assessment sa company mo. Step 5 is review your assessment and update it's necessary. So, work environment are constantly changing. Nagbabago siya time to time. It's either the equipment kasi nasisira, so i-change. And also the people or employees na nagtatrabaho dun sa company mo kasi aalis yung iba employee, then may papasok na naman employee. So, you need to change or so, kailangan mong mag-review ulit ng risk assessment, change ulit ng risk assessment, i-change mo time to time kasi yun nga, kailangan mo i-change siya time to time kasi nagbabago yung mga equipment na gagamitin mo and yung business mo is lumalago. So, therefore, kailangan mo magdagdag ng mga iba't ibang equipment, another employees. So, kailangan mong i-change yung risk assessment mo time to time. So, fourth is fix the problem. Can anyone read?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
Fix the problem. To repair something or solve a problem, your aim is to remove a hazard completely from workplace.
So here in the fix the problem means you are making action for a solution to make your problem solved. But make sure, like what I said earlier, pag magsasolve ka ng problem, which means is masasolve na siya, matatapos na siya. Hindi yung magsasolve ka ng problem will cause another hazard. So next is hierarchy of hazard control. So this hierarchy of hazard control, these are the steps or way to remove or reduce risk in your workplace. So first is elimination. Remove it completely from your workplace. So here in elimination, repairing the damaged equipment, which means you will remove the hazardous like chemicals and also yung mga sirang equipment. So next is substitution. So here in the substitution hazard, use a less toxic chemical, removing something that produces a hazard, replacing with something that does not produce a hazard, which means is tatanggalin mo yung mga toxic chemical na nakakasira, then you will replace it into less toxic so that it will not harm to people around you. So third is use engineering controls. So here in the engineering control, isolate the people from hazard, which means is place guard on dangerous part of hazard, like you will use trolley for moving heavy loads and separate box or cabinet from the chemical. Fourth is use administrative controls. change work practices and organization. Means rotate job. To reduce the time to spend on any single work, train your staff in safe work and procedure. So dito, kailangan may ka-change ka. Like for example, hindi kasi pwede in whole day na sa isang place ka lang kasi it will cause you into ergonomic hazard. Kailangan may substitution kang ibang ka-workers mo. The next is use PPE. Protect the worker with personal protective equipment. In working, PPE is very important for you to prevent the hazard. Like yung falling of hair, madapa ka. So, kailangan magsuot ka ng proper PPE for you to prevent in any injury. So, 5 is evaluate result. Can someone read?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
Evaluate results. After you think, evaluate results. After you think, fix the problem, find out whether the changes have been effective. Get feedback from those affected by the changes and include them in any modifications to their workplace or work routines.
Okay, thank you, Miss Patao. So here in the evaluate result, ask for the feedback of your worker or employees. If your waste ba is na-reduce yung problem, na-reduce yung hazard, or yung ginawa mong waste or solution is nagkakaroon ulit ng additional hazard. So, kailangan you will interview or you will ask your employees one by one. So, in the evaluate result, look at your incident record to see if the numbers are ongoing down. So, babalik ka dun sa step 4 ng risk assessment. Titignan mo yung mga, you will finding result, i-check mo yung record ng mga incident kung tumataas ba or bumababa dahil sa mga ginawa mong actions. So, next is, make sure your solution does not introduce new hazard. So, yun nga, like what I said earlier, pag mag-make ka ng action or if you will make solution, make it sure na hindi siya mag-add ng additional hazard. Kailangan, yung solution mo is matatanggal o masosolve yung problem mo sa hazard. Then next is set a date to reassess the risk. Choose a time frame appropriate to tasks and risks involved. If the work process changes or new equipment is introduced to a task, then the risk assessment must be renewed. So dito, like sinabi ko kanina, yung risk assessment, yung dun sa step 5 risk assessment, kailangan yung risk assessment mo is you will change it time to time kasi nga yung mga equipment na ginagamit mo is nagbabago, then yung mga employees na nagatrabaho sa company mo is nagbabago kasi yung business mo is umuunlad siya. Therefore, kailangan mo ng new equipment and new employees. So, next is employers, managers, contractors, and workers need to communicate each other and work together. So, here to prevent the hazard in your workplace area, cooperation is really important for the security of every person in the workplace area. So, that's our topic for today, class. So, what have you learned, class? Anyone?
Permission to speak, ma'am.
Okay, proceed.
I have learned the different types of hazard and risk po.
Okay, thank you. Another class.
Ma'am, permission to speak.
Okay, proceed, Miss De Los Reyes.
I have learned what are the practical ways to prevent the hazard and risks in workplace area.
Okay, thank you. So, very good class. You have learned a lot during our class discussion. But, I have question. Why do you think the importance of knowing the prevention of hazard or the practical ways to prevent a hazard and risk.
Ma'am, permission to speak.
Okay, proceed, Ms. De Los Reyes.
Ma'am, it is very important to know the practical ways to prevent the hazard and risks so that we are aware of the possible hazard and risks and to know how to prevent and avoid the incident and injuries while working.
So, thank you, Ms. De Los Reyes. So, now, we'll proceed to our game. So, class, we will have so-called arrange me. I will call someone and tell me the number of the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, and into fifth step in the risk assessment and explain what it is. So, is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I will call first Miss De Los Reyes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Identify kung saan yung first step ng risk assessment.
The first step is in third row.
Okay. Why is that your answer, or why do you think that is the correct answer?
Because you will identify the hazard.
Okay, thank you. So, next is Mr. Ramos.
The second step in the first row po. The first row.
Okay. But ano ito?
Here you will know how these hazards are harmful and know whom be harmful and how it might harm.
Okay, Mr. Ramos. So, next person that I will call is Miss Pataho. Miss Pataho.
So the third answer is the on precaution. In this step, you will take some action to prevent hazards. You will put in a place
Excuse me, Mr. Ramos, your mic is open.
to avoid injury. Maingay man.
Mr. Ramos, your mic is open. Kindly mute your mic. So again, Miss Pataho.
Is in the second row, which is to evaluate the risk and decide on precaution. In this step, you will take some actions to prevent hazard. You will put in place precautions, use safety and effective equipment to avoid injury.
Okay, thank you. Next is Miss Engrano. What's your answer?
So the fourth step is in the fifth row. So here you will record all your risk assessment for you to have documents that you make an action.
Okay, thank you. So another, Mr. Adrian.
Yes, ma'am. The fifth step is the fourth row po.
Okay.
Here you will need to review and update your risk assessment every time because there are significant changes in your workplace.
Okay, thank you, class. Hope na marami kayong natutunan sa discussion natin. And you will apply it in your own if magkakaroon na kayo ng company, and if wala pa, syempre you will apply it in your home to prevent the possible hazard. Okay, so now class will proceed to our short quiz. This short quiz are word scramble and multiplication. First, you will arrange the word scramble. Then, second step you will find the correct definition of it. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you will write it class in a 1/2 sheet of paper. Then after you done answering, you will send it to our GC. I will also give you 5 minutes to answer that. Then pag yung 5 minutes is natapos na, I will close the submission. Okay? You can now start. And class, tell me if you are done in number 1. Okay? Tell me if you are done answering number 1, class, so that I will proceed into number 2.
Ma'am, next po. Ma'am. Next, ma'am.
Next na, ma'am. Next na, ma'am.
Next, ma'am.
Nag-submit na po kami, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. How about the others?
Yan na po, ma'am.
Meron pa yung iba hindi nagka-pass. I-close ko yung submission pag mabutan kayo ng time.
Yan na, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now, may bibigay akong assignment sa inyo. Then, you will pass it on Monday. Your assignment is to make a 3 to 5 minutes video on how you will prevent the hazard and risk in preparing food. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You will submit it on our Google Classroom. So, that's all for today. So, our quotes for today is, don't stop when you are tired. Stop when you are done. So, thank you, class, for participating. Thank you for being here, for attending our class. And good luck, guys, sa inyong examination. I hope na may makukuha kayong high grades.
Noted, ma'am. Thank you din po.
Okay, so thank you. Kindly open your cam, guys. Wait lang. Class, kindly open your cam for the documentation for this class today. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, go. So, okay. Thank you, class. Again, thank you and God bless. You may
Thank
now
you din,
leave.
ma'am.
Yeah, okay, bye, class. You may now leave.
Bye po.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.